Hey, this is Samantha once again. Welcome back to another video. This is another paid request, this time from Johnny. For those interested requesting pretty much any type of videos, commentaries, reviews, topics, whatever, feel free to send them either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for a commentary on the 1994 film Speed. Thank you, Johnny, for that. And let's get right into it. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. As we have the 20th Century Fox logo, which is no longer a thing because Disney bought them out, so it's now 20th Century Studios forevermore. Fox was a great company back in the day. Alien, Aliens, Predator, Predator 2, films like Speed, True Lies. I remember having this on VHS back in the day and loved it ever since. Keanu Reeves, this was a big turning point for him, where people were able to take him a little bit more seriously. Dennis Hopper, rest in peace. Great actor, great villain in the movie. Sandra Bullock, this helped her career. She had done Demolition Man before this, but this definitely sent her into superstardom. One little nitpick, I don't care for this font for Speed. I prefer the font that's on the poster, like slanted. I think that's a better... I love this music though. But yeah, the Speed font, I think what they had on the poster and trailers was a better font than this. Great cast: Joe Morton, Alan Ruck, Glenn Plummer, Jeff Daniels. Excellent score. A score that really helps the film. Not that it needed help, but people forget the musical score can really get an audience emotions pumping, whether adrenaline or however you want to feel with it. And this score definitely captures that. It's funny, the last time I thought of this film was actually when I saw Sonic the Hedgehog, because Sonic is looking through the window like a peeping Tom, but he's watching them watch the film Speed. And of course, Sonic loves the film. He's got good taste. Yeah, Mark Mancini did a fantastic job with the score. Probably Mark Mancini's best score. He's done some good ones. I think he worked on Bad Boys as well. I think he worked on Bad Boys after this, and that score as well. So actually it's tough. I don't know which score I like, this or Bad Boys. They're both great scores. That Andrei Barkowiak, I believe that's the same man who would go on to direct some of those Jet Li films like Cradle to the Grave and Doom with The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. And of course, this is the directing debut of Jan de Bont. Graham Yost, the writer. I think there was another buddy of his that worked on this. They would go on to work on Broken Arrow with John Woo, the script for that film. They also would go on to write Hard Rain. Both films I enjoy. I would say Speed, Broken Arrow, then Hard Rain, but I like all three films. They worked on all of them. And yeah, Jan de Bont was a cinematographer, was a director of photography before this. And I don't remember how he got the job for the directing motif on this, but it was a great debut. And then after this he did Twister with Bill Paxton, which was another fun film. His career went down the toilet because he did Speed 2 and he did The Haunting in 1999, both terrible movies. And then Lara Croft, The Cradle of Life, which is one of the only films I saw in the theater where I fell asleep in. That was just... that killed his career. Yeah. Pretty decently violent. I mean, you don't have a villain make an impact, there you go. How do we introduce Dennis Hopper? He stabs someone in the face, in the head with a blade. And that is the interesting thing about this film is it's a film where you have three mini films inside of it. Like you have the mini film of the elevator, you have the big chunk with the bus, and then you have a mini film with the subway train. And in a way, like each one of these could be its own film. Like the elevator could have been a film, but it would have to be like more of a suspense film where you're negotiating with the bad guy. Same with the subway station. I mean, take a Pelham 1, 2, 3. But this has all three of these. So you have these three great set piece movies. Well done technically. And this is 1994. This is when there were still studios and films being made with a high usage of practical effects and stuff done for real. And that helps the audience be pulled into the illusion of the film. What button did you push? And there's a good sense of humor too, but it never becomes parody. And Keanu Reeves, like this is, like I said, a big film. And what's funny about Keanu Reeves is that when a film of his becomes a big, massive hit, it's usually, again, how do you introduce the hero? Flying car. And we have Jeff Daniels here, who I liked from Arachnophobia, Dumb and Dumber. I think this is the same year as Dumb and Dumber, 94, so it was a big year for him. Jeff Daniels doesn't seem like he really talks about this film much, which I don't get, because classic. But, and there's Joe Morton from Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Underrated actor Joe Morton. Of course, he was in Justice League as Cyborg's dad. I'll get back to it, but I just want to... Yeah, the basement. Yeah, Keanu Reeves, like I said, when he has a film that's a massive hit, it comes out of left blue. Because you think about it, no one expected Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure to be anything. A movie about two kids that go back in time in a phone booth to get historical figures. What? But then that was a hit. And very successful, good movie. No one expected Speed. Like, I guarantee you, at the time, no one expected anything out of Speed. What, Keanu Reeves, the Ted guy from Bill and Ted, is an action hero? Which, nowadays, yeah, of course, with John Wick and Neo and The Matrix, but back then there was a time like, what, this guy is an action hero? Whoa! The guy with the guitar, like, what? Ted? Theodore Logan? And this came out of left blue. I know this isn't it left field. I don't know. I just saw this film. I Know Who Killed Me that has so much fucking blue. So blue is in my fucking head. Yeah, the Lindsay Lohan film. Huh? Technically, it's out of left field, but out of left blue just sounds dumber. I don't know. But you don't see it coming. No one expected this to be anything. The Matrix. No one expected The Matrix to be anything. They figured the big sci-fi film was Star Wars, The Phantom Menace. And then The Matrix comes out, and you go, what the fuck? Same with John Wick. John Wick, they thought, okay, it's another film with Keanu Reeves. Okay, he's got some guns in it. Alright. It'll be just, in one ear, out the other. Not me, I look forward to it, but a lot of people, they're like, John Wick, no one was talking about John Wick before the film came out. Then the film came out and went, oh shit. And now it's one of the more successful action franchises in today. So again, when Keanu Reeves, when it explodes, it will explode out of thin air. Which is kind of interesting. Now, he had been in Point Break, which I've never been into Point Break. I never understood the appeal of Point Break. I prefer this film over Point Break. I just never got the Point Break thing. I don't care about surfing, uh, the action scenes. I can't think of any action scenes noteworthy in Point Break. I'm sorry. Just I never got the appeal. But I do love this film, and I'm a big Keanu Reeves fan. I like the Matrix films. I like the John Wick films. I like Constantine. That's an underrated one. Street Teens. That's another underrated one. And I'm trying to think. Chain Reaction, I didn't mind. That was the film he did after this. Actually, no. After this, he did Johnny Mnemonic. Because this was 94, and it was a huge hit. And like, okay, this guy popping into something. So he did Johnny Mnemonic. And that film came out and was a massive flop. Of course, you have the pop quiz Hot Shot, which after this film, everyone kept saying that. Pop quiz Hot Shot. A lot of people kept saying it, especially when Keanu Reeves says it near the end of the film. And now you never hear about it, but back then that was the thing that just kept going on and on. But maybe that's good. That way it doesn't become like a get to the chopper where now you just hear it, you just annoyed and groan with it. But Pop Quiz Hot Shot is like, okay, no one has said it for like 10 years. So it's not as overused and annoying. How much does the elevator weigh? As much as a fat Oprah Winfrey. Well, I don't shoot him, right? But I know the commentary on this from the writers is an interesting commentary. They're very proud of the film. They do throw some other nitpicks with the film, which I disagree with, but they do seem fairly proud of it. And writer commentaries seem to be some of the more interesting one. Either a fun commentary like John Carpenter and Kurt Russell together. But if you don't have that, then if it's a writer's commentary like the Halloween 4, Halloween 4, the writer's commentary, I recommend finding the DVD just to listen to that. Very fascinating. Same with this. Because they tell you like what was different between the initial script. Like in the original script, from what I remember, sorry if I'm wrong, Dennis Hopper's character would just be in this opening section. And when he dies, he would have died. And then when he comes back, people think it's him coming back. But then you're supposed to find out that Jeff Daniels' character was the actual bomber in this bus section. Because he got this hurt leg, and he's pissed off, and, what I gave for the city, and there's probably some more to it that was added into it, or was in the previous, but was taken out when they did this one. And obviously that wasn't what it came to be. But yeah, at the initial draft, it was going to be Jeff Daniels' character. I did Des Hopper would be at the beginning, and then Jeff Daniels' character would be surprise. I'm fine with what they did here because when you did Dennis Hopper, you keep him, you just keep him. And I'm sure for Dennis Hopper, this is definitely a film that helped him in his career because his career was not in the best state of affairs at this time. He had just done Super Mario Brothers as Koopa. Not Bowser, like in the game, but Koopa. And he wasn't happy with that experience. I like the movie. I do quite enjoy the film, but he was just not happy with that experience. And the film came out, wasn't successful critically, commercially. See, I think all this is fairly well done, and it's tense, and, this lady almost falling off. Now, here's where escapism comes into play. Would this actually work? Probably not. But again, if you're enjoying it and you're entertained with it and the effects are well done enough, you could overcome escapism. Like that, like, we all know the bus can't do the fucking jump. We all know that. If a bus tries to do that jump, it's like, and you're dead. The bus can't do a fucking jump. But if you're having enough enjoyment out of the film, if the film's doing enough stuff, you could take an out of the blue, out of left field sequence, plug it in there, and you're enjoying the ride so much, you go, yeah, yeah. Even though it's bullshit, but again, that's escapism. Same with Die Hard. Do you think someone's going to be lucky enough to jump off a roof that blows up? The entire roof blows up, and then thankfully the fire hose doesn't get burned up, doesn't disintegrate. It catches on the roof, catches long enough and holds there for Bruce Willis to swing through, and then it comes down after he swings through. Because if it came down 10 seconds before, he'd be a meat patty on a pavement. Again, that's escapism, and that's a hard line to find. If it was easy, then every film would be successful in terms of escapism. And that's, if you're enjoying the characters, you're enjoying the actors, you're enjoying the music, the effects, the editing, the pacing, all that jazz. And for a film that's packed with this much stuff, it's less than 2 hours. Lo and behold. It's less than 2 hours. Nowadays, they would have a movie, it'd be, it's 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 40 minutes. No, this is under 2 hours, and yet it's packed with a lot of stuff. I mean, this whole sequence here is packed with a lot of stuff. And like I say, when this film came out, no one expected it to be as much of a hit as possible. I mean, this is a year True Lies, which I love True Lies. But I guarantee you, if you took a bet, people would say, well, that's going to be the biggest action film of the year, True Lies. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's James Cameron. But then you look at, like, the budget. Like, this did not have a big budget. This had a tiny budget compared to, True Lies. And so, technically, this probably made more profit than True Lies. I knew we were up to something. He goes by. I also like Keanu Reeves' look. I like the haircut. I think it fits well. I like the attitude. And so you have characters using their brains. Like, wait a minute, why would he blow it so early? He knew we were up to something. I don't want to make the Keanu Reeves sound like that, but I'll do it anyway. So, will the mystery guest please sign in? And Speed is a film that you don't hear anyone talk about nowadays. Now that I think about it, I mean, other than that reference in Sonic the Hedgehog, which was a fun, that's what's like, oh wow, cool, because you never hear anyone talk about the film. Which is a shame because it's a fucking classic. And it's like, why do people... Like, I never understood why, when Fox was doing all this stuff with their movies, why you never had, like, a full documentary on Speed. Like, the 20th year anniversary. Or the 10-year anniversary. 10-year anniversary, 2004, boom. Get all these guys together, talk about the making of the film. There still hasn't been a full documentary on this. And now Dennis Hopper's passed away, so you can't get his thoughts. Why he took the job, what he thought of the experience, all that jazz. Ugh. Again, the music really is a great part of this movie. Building this tension of he's going to get crushed if he doesn't go down, but he could get shot if unless he goes down. So either get crushed or get shot. Now I will say this is one of the more annoying cliches in a movie for me. One of my least favorite cliches is the good guy or the bad guy has a gun, has been using the gun, and lo and behold at that exact time, no more bullets. Or in this case, no more shells. I'm like, come on, no one's that lucky in real life. No one's that lucky in real life that someone's shooting 4 or 5 or 15 or 50 times and then it gets to you. That's one of my least favorite cliches, and that happens a lot. You think the hero's going to get it? Click. There's no more bullets. I'm like, it's just annoying. Just irritating to me. Then that's just, again, just a little nitpick. And yeah, I love the film. I mean, this is one of my favorite action films. Do I have nitpicks? Like I said, the font of the Speed should have been what it was on the poster. And that gun empty cliche. But again, the cast make it work. Shut up, Harry. Oh, the balls of the world right here, man. This Hopper's having a lot of fun with this role. A lot of fun. And you referenced something in the past, shoot the hostage. Lo and behold. You bring it back here. Now, I would say why don't you just shoot, but yeah, think about it from his perspective. You're still shooting someone that, well, technically they're still armed, but they're armed with an explosive on themselves, and he probably would have gotten in deep shit. That's a good stunt as well. Obviously, it's done with wires to pull the guy back. And yeah, in the original script, that's when that character would have died, and then you think he's come back, and it's really Jeff Daniels. I forget exactly what they say in the commentary, so... But I think they made the right decision not going that way, but I forget the exact reason. Harry, you told me to. See, the humor here works. It's not like a fucking recent Marvel film where humor is every fucking 5 seconds. Like, in the middle of this shit on the bus, you don't have Keanu Reeves trying to give someone a fucking taco, or breakfast taco, or breakfast burrito, or taking selfies. Man, those fucking old TVs, man. You don't have those TVs anymore. But 1994, I mean, that was the year you had films like The Mask, I mentioned True Lies, you had this movie. I'm trying to think what else. The Lion King. I think, was Forrest Gump 94? That might have been. God, I'm trying to remember. I'm not the best with years. But Joe Morton, he's a lot of fun too. Very. That's what I mean. Like you give characters, even like Joe Morton, you give him a personality. How many lives you got, Jack? And one of my favorite bits is that when they find out that the road is not completed, and then Joe Morton is talking to people, and he's just so pissed off. It's like, "You're fired. Everybody's fucking fired." That always gets me. Because it's such a real reaction. Well, he's pissed off. He doesn't know what to say. But it's on the damn map. Fucking, you're fired. Everyone's fucking fired. And Jeff Daniels comes off as a likable character that makes it even more sad when he gets killed off. No, I do think the film would have still worked if Jeff Daniels' character lived. You know, I don't think you needed to kill him off. But I understand why they did it to make the bad guy even more evil. Because he kills a guy that we like, we the audience enjoy. And you think he's going to help save the day, and now it's even more onto our hero's shoulders. And Speed 2, Cruise Control, I get why Keanu Reeves said no to it, because you think about it, yeah, I think he even mentioned, I read the script, and like the idea, again, it's like, what the hell, like we're on a boat, and isn't that kind of an oxymoron, Speed 2, Cruise Control, you're speeding, but you're cruising. If you're on Cruise Control, you're not technically speeding, I don't know. This actor I recognize. I cannot remember his name though, but I've recognized him in other films. It's a steepy from the moment, but it's like, oh, I know that guy. I've seen him before. This guy who's a bus driver. Yeah, it's Bob. But this is a nice shot with this pan, and then you get the explosion because you have the actor in the same frame. Because you have the bus going, and then you have the actor in the same frame, and that makes it much more effective. And it's done for real. It's far enough away that the actor is safe, but you're like, ooh, shit. And even though he's probably dead, he still has to check because he's a cop. That's his job. He still has to check just in case. Even though that's a zero chance, but he had to check. Him doing his job. Of course, Dennis Hopper, he'll say pop quiz. Kind of like another, yep, it's really me. Remember that line, pop quiz hot shot? I'm saying it too, so you could even confirm more that yes, it is me. But Speed 2, I mean, with the plot of the film, it was just a weird choice for a speed film. I mean, technically a boat, yes, a boat is going very fast. That's why people can't jump off of it. But visually, it's hard to showcase a boat going fast that's a cruise liner, I should say. Very hard for a cruise liner to showcase it going, quote, fast. Two years? That's a long fucking time for put bombs on an elevator. Actually, I would say you're slipping, man. If it took you 2 years just to put a couple bombs on an elevator, you deserve to lose. 3.7 million, I mean, it's a lot to me, but it doesn't sound like a lot to someone who, like, it's not 10 million, it's not 20 million. Hell, actors get paid more to do one movie role. So 3.7 million, it just sounds fairly low. I think it's a lot for me. I could live off that easily. And that's one of the things that makes this film work. You have a great gimmick. You have a gimmick that you go, man, I can't believe someone hasn't thought of that before. Like you're on some type of vehicle. You cannot go below a certain speed limit or you blow up. And then a bus is a great decision because it's big, it can hit a lot more things. It's hard to squeeze through places. It's harder to maneuver. And it's a bus, so it's going to be going through a lot of traffic. And it's going to be hard on turns and hard on... I mean, it was the right vehicle to choose. Yeah, a bus in rush hour traffic. And here's Sandra Bullock, my favorite actress. Yes. People have asked, like, who's your favorite actress? I would go Sandra Bullock. And if they go, why? I go, because, number one, I look at her filmography. I love Demolition Man. I love this film. I like The Net. I loved Gravity. I saw it even twice in the theater. Love Gravity. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but it's my cup of tea. Even films like the first Miss Congeniality I enjoyed. The Heat I enjoyed mostly for her. I liked her personality. I liked her sense of humor. I think she's beautiful. I think she can do drama. She can do comedy. She doesn't seem like a stuck-up bitch. I really like Sandra Bullock. Now this guy with the sunglasses, that's Alan Ruck, Ferris Bueller's buddy, Cameron, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He'll keep calling me. He'll make me feel guilty. I'll go. God damn it. But that's Alan Ruck. He was also in the next Jan de Bont film, Twister, as one of the storm chaser team. Storm chasing team members. I'm going to keep talking about the music because a really good score, especially for an action film, it's kind of sadly not as app- appreciated, not as talked about as before, and it's a shame because I don't think they put as much effort into the score. I really don't. Like the Marvel films, I can't tell you a fucking thing about the scores to... I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy, it's the songs people remember, not the score. But I can't tell you a fucking thing about the score of Captain America, or the Avengers, or any of the new Spider-Man films, Doctor Strange, which I liked the movie, but I can't tell you a thing about the score, or anything. But back then, like, you hear the scores at Total Recall, and Broken Arrow, and this movie, and Bad Boys, and they really... people will listen to them and get their adrenaline pumped. It's not really the case now. Even the John Wick films. I mean, if I'm being honest, the John Wick films, I love the films to death. The scores are not the most memorable, though. I can't tell you much. John Wick 2 has a decent song at the end credits, but I can't really tell you the score of the movie. I can't think of the beats, the rhythm, or anything of it. I wonder if that was on purpose and break to glass. I don't think so, because other shots, I don't see the broken glass. Like, where's the broken glass? Like, that shot of him running, I don't see a broken glass. It's a little bit of a continuity error. Because he breaks the glass, but then you see that. I don't... Maybe I miss it. Maybe I'm missing it. I think this is Glenn Plummer. Which he makes a cameo in Speed 2 for some reason. Because, oh my god, I had a boat here instead of a car. And Speed 2, I think about Speed 2, and I really do wonder if Keanu Reeves starred in Speed 2 and he had the same stuff. I might have not minded it as a time waster where it's definitely a step down. But at least I could say I liked Keanu Reeves, and it was cool to see Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock again, and it does have some pretty decent action sequences. There's a lot of stuff done for real on camera. You know, the budget is used fairly well. I do wonder if Speed 2, like I said, if Keanu Reeves starred in Speed 2, I actually might not have minded it, despite a lot of its flaws. Just as there are action films I enjoy that have a lot of flaws to them. But that other actor, I forgot his name. I didn't mind him in Narc. I liked him in The Lost Boys. But Jason Patric. Jason Patric, I don't mind in Narc. I don't mind in The Lost Boys. But as an action hero, I thought he had no personality. I thought he was fairly boring. I think he was honestly one of the biggest problems with that film. As well with the concept. Because the concept isn't really speed feel to it. And then Glenn Plummer's reaction. There's a what? Fuck. And if you made this film today, it would be quite a different film, because of one important thing we would have that they did not have back then. This. Cell phones were not really a thing in 1994. Maybe you had a car phone, but they didn't have this. Not really. At all. So, like, you could call the bus company and say, I'm a cop, this is my number, you want to double check it, there's a bomb on the bus, contact him, and then he would get his cell phone, and it'd be a completely different thing. And in a way, it sounds stupid, but cell phones help tremendously in real life, but they kind of hurt the movies. Because then you can't make movies like you can back in the day. I think you think about how many movies, even you look at a feature film like Alien, in Alien, in the future, whatever the cell phones of the future are, yeah, I have an alien here. Okay, where you're at? Okay, I'm over here. Okay, I'll be there soon. Or, oh, I don't believe you. Really? You don't believe me? I have a phone on my camera. Okay, what the fuck do you think that is? Think about, like, that'd be an interesting thing. Like, you think about each film from 80s and 90s and just how different it would be with a phone like that, where you could record and you could call anybody. Nice stunt. Take the phone. I mean, really good stunt work, all done for real, on camera. That's another one where the film holds up because of that, because it's all done for real. It's all done. It's not computer graphics where they didn't have the budget or they didn't have the technology at the time to finesse things. You tend to get more real than real, and that helps in making this still stick and still easy to watch without taking your mind away from the escapism, the illusion, because you're worried about, oh my god, look at that weird computer graphic. No, it's just, wow, that's a real cool stunt, and I'll tear it down the bus, and well done to, well done work with the stunt, to the stunt people. And also, it's when you get on the bus, all the little things that happen. You have, this situation here. It's just all the stuff that ratchets it up, like this whole thing here, and the woman being so scared, and then she gets killed, and all this other stuff. And it's just, okay, how do you make the situation worse and worse and worse as it goes along? And that's the work of a writing team. Also, like, how do you have this little fight scene in a bus? It's gotta be quick enough so you're not. Fine, we'll throw your ass off the bus. We'll see what happens. Yeah, sorry, I just got pulled into the movie yet again. Actually, I want to see if I could get some info about the film. But yeah, I was just again got sucked into the film again. But yeah, the movie just works because of, you get a good cast, you get likable characters, you get all this done under 2 hours as well. And when it goes, I mean, the movie itself is a, there's no, it doesn't feel like there's any slowdown. I mean, it begins with someone getting stabbed in the fucking head with a knife, and then again the elevator stuff, and then you didn't know the characters, and there's fun banter, and then you get all this stuff going on. It just goes and it doesn't stop, and it won't stop until the end of the film. If you're wondering what I'm looking up, I want to look up some trivia on it. Yeah. Oh, funny enough, Keanu Reeves breaking the glass in the bus door at the beginning of the movie was an accident. So there you go. A Fox producer noticed they might have had a hit on their hands when, at the test screening, people who need to go to the bathroom walked backwards so they would miss as little as possible. And even this, it's like, fuck me. And he's like, oh darn. I remember that. But that seems like it fits with that type of character, not just out of the blue. The film literally ran out of money before it was completed. When the film was previewed, the subway scenes were animated storyboards. The audience loved them so much, the studio came up with the funds to shoot the scenes properly. Again, this is where again you get the tension. You wonder what the hell's going to happen next. Keanu Reeves initially turned down the lead because he thought it was too much like Die Hard. And then Joss Whedon did a rewrite of the script. So, Joss Whedon. I didn't know Joss Whedon did a rewrite on the script. Again, because of that whole speed dial, that's speed mileage to help rise tension. Because we know obviously they're not going to blow up. Because otherwise it'd be a very weird, different movie. But like we know they're going to make it. We're just wondering how they're going to make it. So you get like sharp turns like that. Again, nicely done on the effects. And apparently 10 buses were used in the making of the film. Each one had two steering wheels, one for Sandra Bullock, the other for the stunt driver. Oh, the bus jump sequence, a ramp was built. The bus was started from about 1 mile back and accelerated towards the ramp. By the time it hit the ramp, it reached 61 miles per hour. It traveled 109 feet, which was higher than anyone had anticipated. Because of this, the cameras were not placed correctly, and the top front of the bus goes out of frame when the bus reaches the maximum point of the jump. That's true if you watch it, yeah. The script was pitched to Paramount Studios, which placed the movie in turnaround. They suggested the grandiose of the script, which called for the movie to end after everyone gets off the bus, had too much bus in it, implying the audiences would not go for a movie in which a bus is driving around for 2 hours. He added the subway scenes, modified the script, presented to 20th Century Fox, which agreed to film the movie. Jan de Bont, he was a cinematographer of Die Hard, The Hunt for Red October. I think that helped him get the job. There's a rumor that Ellen DeGeneres was going to play the Sandra Bullock role, but in 2015, Ellen said, "Nah, that's not true. I was never up for that role." I don't, because it was supposed to be much more of a comedic. I'm glad that never happened. Sandra Bullock was much better. The film grossed $121 million in the US and $350 million worldwide on a budget of $30 million. $30 million. So don't give me the shit that you need $100 million to make a film. $30 million this was made for. Even if you double that, let's say you double that, $60 million. That still doesn't mean you need $100 million to do it. Great reaction too by Sandra Bullock. It was chance. Chance. Let's see. Keanu Reeves was not sure about doing an action film, but Jan de Bont convinced him, saying it would be fun, telling Reeves he'd be allowed to do as many of his own stunts as possible. This shows how much Rob Schneider knows. Schneider befriended Sandra Bullock on Demolition Man. He heard the premise and said, a bus movie? That won't be a hit at the box office. Which is probably why his career went down the toilet and instead did films like The Animal and The Hot Chick. Apparently up for Sandra Bullock role was Rosanna Arquette, Joan Cusack, I don't see them, Gina Davis, maybe. I mean, I prefer Sandra Bullock, but Gina Davis, Melanie Griffith, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Brooke Shields, no. Halle Berry. Yeah, I do see Halle Berry. Madonna, Demi Moore, Sharon Stone, Michelle Pfeiffer, Leah Thompson. I could maybe see Gina Davis, maybe Halle Berry, maybe Demi Moore, but I think Sandra Bullock was the right call. And all these damn sharp turns, man. I haven't do that with a real fucking bus. That's just crazy. It is well edited too. It's not edited so it feels choppy. Has the right angles so you know what's going on. You're not confused. Yeah, I was going to get to this. The film's script was originally meant to be a vehicle for Jeff Speakman as part of a 3-movie deal for Paramount. Remember I said Paramount is, I don't know about, if it's just on a bus. So you had the subway scenes. So you would probably have Jeff Speakman doing some fighting, and then maybe on the bus you have the scene, and then maybe in the subway he would do some fighting. But yeah, Jeff Speakman has said that in an interview that that was the one film that it was meant for him, and I hate to say it, I love Jeff Speakman. I don't think it worked though, because I mean, there's a part of me that would love to have seen that, like an alternate world, but I don't want to erase this. I think this one is a fantastic film. I just think that if you went off and on and off the bus like Jeff Speakman was talking about, I think that would have lost the tension of the bus. The bus, if you could get that on and off that often, then the tension of the bus is, I mean, the only time he gets off the bus is when he checks under it. Or hiding with the camera stuff. When they realize there's something videotaping them. But I don't know if it would have worked if it was just Speakman. I'd be curious about it, but I'm trying to. I'm trying to see if there's anything about... Jan de Bont came up with the idea for the opening elevator scene while working as cinematographer on Die Hard. Okay, here it is. This is what I was looking for. Sorry. Jat's sidekick Harry was originally meant to be played by Ed Harris, and in this version was going to be revealed as the Mad Bomber. However, when Ed Harris opted out and Jeff Daniels signed on, the producers felt that the audience would not accept the sudden twist in character, so Harry was kept as a good guy throughout, and the Mad Bomber written as a separate character. The idea of the hero's friend and sidekick being the villain was later used in Broken Arrow. Also written by Graham Yost. According to Joss Whedon, the character Alan Ruck plays was originally written as an abrasive lawyer who gets his comeuppance in an unexpected death scene. Joss Whedon rewrote him as the sympathetic, dull-witted tourist of the final version, but kept the death scene, which intended to give it more emotional impact. His character changes were kept, but the death was written out, and the character was kept alive. Yeah, I think you get that with the one girl this girl here who's so scared of it. And Jeff Daniels. I mean, Jeff Daniels gets killed. That's enough. Here it says at least 12 different buses were used during the shooting of the film. Don't tell me you've been shooting the passengers. And that's the clue. He says that wildcat. And again, it shows that our hero is smart. He's like, wait a minute, why the hell did he say that? I forgot he said that. Gigantor. I forgot he said that. Well, you don't stay and you don't like it, bitch. Okay, I'm trying to think. I want to get these other actors' names, just bothering me. So you have Carlos Carrasco as Ortiz. That's the guy helping the bus driver right now. He was in Crocodile Dundee 2. I see him in other stuff. The Fisher Teen as a doctor. Probably just done a lot of voice work too. Including as villagers in Resident Evil 4. And this girl Helen, that's Beth Grant. And I've definitely seen her and stuff. She was in Child's Play 2 as Miss Kettlewell in Child's Play 2. She was also in City Slickers 2, among others. Sure listened. Should have listened. Yeah, listen, get the fucking choppers out of here. What are you doing, man? Okay. Screenwriter Graham Yost was told by his father about a 1985 film called Runaway Train. Okay, so that was the film's end was inspired by the 1976 film Silver Streak, with Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder. His initial script, the entire film was on the bus. There was no elevator scene. The bus would have driven around Dodger Stadium due to the ability to drive around in circles. It would have culminated with the bus running to the Hollywood sign and destroying it. Took his idea to Paramount Pictures. They wanted John McTiernan to do it. John McTiernan said no, said it was too much like Die Hard. He just suggested Jan de Bont, who worked on Die Hard. Paramount said no. That was probably around the time where Jeff Speakman and his team's like, hey, we got a 3-picture deal. We want to do this. 20th Century Fox bought it. But they said, well, there's got to be a bit more action than just the bus. So Jan de Bont had the elevator. The writer Graham Yost came up with the subway at the end. Jan de Bont brought in Joss Whedon a week before Prince of Photography to work on the script. According to Graham Yost, Joss Whedon wrote 98.9% of the dialogue. I didn't write the dialogue as much as he did. Joss Whedon changed the character Jack from a maverick hotshot to polite guy trying not to get anybody killed. Made him more earnest. Like this scene here. So yeah, that's actually yeah, this scene pretty much captures that. He's the asshole, Annie. Big asshole. Also, Joss Whedon came up with the pop quiz hotshot line. Here's the bit I was talking about. Just wait. This is the thing I was talking about. The freeways is finished. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? It's finished. There's a section missing. It's on the map. It's on the goddamn map. You're fired. Everybody's fucking fired. I don't know why that always gets me. Casting now. Jeff Speakman was originally attached, but he got sold to Fox. Stephen Baldwin was the first choice. I mean, I guess people felt the same way with Keanu Reeves as they thought of Stephen Baldwin back then. But he said no because he thought he read the earlier script and thought the character was too much like Die Hard. They considered Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks, Wesley Snipes, and Woody Harrelson. I think Wesley Snipes could have pulled it off. Woody Harrelson would have been interesting. Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks, I like them as actors, but I'm glad we got Keanu Reeves, though. I'm glad that we got Keanu Reeves. The character of Annie originally was an African-American paramedic to justify how she would be able to handle driving a speeding bus through traffic. Role was offered to Halle Berry, but she declined the part. So that would explain why she wanted to do Broken Arrow, because it was written by the same guy, but then some asshole, not Graham Yost, not the director, but some asshole was like, a black person can't be a park ranger. Whoever the fuck that idiot was. Probably producer or studio or something. And then that's probably why she did Executive Decision. Because she's like, man, I said no to Speed, and look what the fuck this movie was. So I wish someone would have asked that now with Halle Berry when John Wick 3 came out. Like the two, hey, Keanu, do you know she was up for the Sandra Bullock role in Speed, but she said no? Oh man, then around the time this was being made, Keanu Reeves' close buddy River Phoenix passed away. So that probably hurt as well. Damn. It came out June 1994. $30 million budget. Man. And Roger Ebert, 4 out of 4 stars. Even he liked it. Here we have the jump. And no, of course we know this jump would not work in real life, but that's where escapism does. You're able to believe A, B, and C, so we get to D, as ridiculous as it is. See, that's why it's not quite in frame at the top. You're just, okay. So... I'll still buy into it. Okay. So I just wanted to get some info out there for you guys, so I wasn't just being boring and sitting here. At least get some info and trivia. Yeah, Stephen Baldwin, I mean, I don't know. But again, people say the same thing about... But I'm glad we have the film we have. That's why. So, okay, the tires got fucked up. Do they just not... So, are the tires not affected on a bus if they get the... They go over those hook... The... What do you call it? It seemed like the wheels were popped, but it seems like nothing really happened because it... I don't remember, like, oh shit, now they gotta drive and it's the rims going. Or do they just not affect a bus? If anyone out there is a bus driver, when you roll over those and they pop, again, do they just not affect the wheels or what the deal? Surprised by the end it's just not rims going, if that's the case. So I mean, it's not a flat tire? I don't know how that works, that's why I'm asking. I'm always willing to learn more. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to wonder though, in the original script, if it was all on a bus and it ended with the bus going through the Hollywood sign. How did the bad guy get it? I mean, did someone else come in and arrest him? Did he somehow get on the bus as well? Did he die from something else? I do wonder about that original script that's just on the bus. How that played out with the bad guy. I mean, we have 45 minutes left, and that's with the end credits. Yeah, I think with the end credits are probably around at least 5 minutes. It's an action film, so do I have a lot of technical expertise on it. You know that I'm on top of you. That's actually another clue. They don't really mention that, but the camera's up top. You know I'm on top of you. But it's like he's saying these things, he's not noticing it though. I'll be back. But I look at Keanu Reeves' career. That's the thing, they give these other characters at least little bits of personality, like Alan Ruck, even that Ortiz guy. I would. So Joss Whedon, the other writer said he wrote 98% of the script. No matter how people feel about Joss Whedon, the idea of him credit for the film as well. However, Joss Whedon was an asshole or whatever the hell, he's obviously got some talent. And what about Alien Resurrection? Well, even he said uh, Alien Resurrection is a shitty movie, and he's right. What's wrong with being somewhere jerking off? I'm sure that's where you want to be instead of on this fucking bus. Hey, yeah, get behind the fucking yellow line. What's that? It's called a truck. It's called people. What do you think it is? It's a fucking phone booth. What do you think it is? Sorry about the clearing of the throat. He's insane the fucking membrane. I mean, you see this, him doing a lot of this, and that helps sell the illusion as well. I mean, pretty dangerous stuff. I don't know about this shot here, but that shot there's definitely Keanu. Just keep straight. This guy's nuts. I remember that. Keep it steady. I know the one guy's like, this guy's nuts. But yeah, Keanu Reeves has definitely had an interesting career when you look back on him starting off with doing these certain films, and then Bill and Ted kind of was his first big success. And then even into the 90s, he wanted to do more films that help challenge his acting. The big role in Bram Stoker's Dracula. I mean, I don't mind Bram Stoker's Dracula. I love Keanu Reeves. He wasn't good in it. I think that was above what he could do at that point. He just wasn't a right fit. He just wasn't a right fit for that. And but then yeah, Speed definitely catapulted him. And then you had, let's see, you had Johnny Mnemonic 95. Chain Reaction was what, 96 or so? And those had not done well, so now his box office stardom had already fallen. And then they're like, oh my god, this guy didn't do Speed 2. He killed his career. Then they saw Speed 2. They go, oh, never mind. He didn't kill his career. Just look at what Speed 2 became. He was actually smart. I'm trying to remember what he did between 96 and 99. I can't remember. But then, of course, The Matrix comes out in 99. Then you had the Matrix sequels. Constantine, I think, is a very underrated film. Very underrated movie. Love Constantine. Again, it's a plot. Where it's just one thing after the other. What can happen next? These close calls. Okay, you have a bus going around in a circle. How you make that exciting? Okay, you have this attempt of trying to disarm the bomb. And now you're pretty much dragging the character. And you also have these other side characters trying to do their part. They're not being useless. They're not being pieces of crap. They're not being unlikable. It's funny that the two on that truck, the two like SWAT guys, they're not doing anything. Like, they're not paying attention to what's going on. They're not paying attention to what's happening. They're not doing a fucking thing. It's like they're just standing there letting this fucking line go crazy. And of course, accidentally hit the gas tank. Because you have to do something to ratchet up the tension, because otherwise they could just be going around in a circle and refueling again and again and again. Finally they're doing something, the SWAT team dies. Said to it, hold his legs! See, it's hard to do that without being annoying. I think Sandra Bullock pulls that off very well. You have to be energetic, you have to be hyper, but you can't be annoying or irritating either. How many lives you got? Sorry, I'm just getting sucked into the film. That's what this film does. I mean, that what makes it a classic. Absolute classic. I watch it is just, it's sad. We don't have that many films like this nowadays. And people could go on and on about how I hate everything. Even though I can name dozens of movies I enjoy throughout the recent years. But the reason I get so mad about movies today is because I know how good it used to be. Why do you think people have this such nostalgia for 80s, 90s movies nowadays? To the fact that we gotta keep doing sequels and prequels and remakes and sequels that ignore other sequels and reboots and 80s love and now 90s love, and we're bringing TV shows back. Like, they brought Full House back. They brought all these other TV shows, like, because no one wants to accept the fact that a lot of movies nowadays suck because it's either a lot of political shit, a lot of agenda shit, or they just don't know how to do it. well. And yes, that's subjective. But I remember how action films used to be. You had Speed, you had True Lies, you had Die Hard with a Vengeance. And this is where Jeff Daniels, doesn't make it. And, it's like, oh. And then that look on his face where he knows. And he's like mad at himself. He's like mad at himself for falling for it. He's like, shit. It's like right here he realizes. And I was like, shit. I mean, even if he tried to run and jump out the window, he would not have made it. And it shows, how smart Dennis Hopper's character is. He used the watch for a purpose. To lead other people there and blow them up too. And he says the Wildcat at the end, another reminder of how the hell does he know this? And also it's why there's so many TVs, because one of them features what we come to find out. And I do think it was the right idea to write the character Keanu Reeves like that, because anytime I watch this film, I never think of a John McClane type of character. We say Die Hard because, it's a classic movie, and, there's a nice ring to it, Die Hard on a bus. But it's still its own movie. And you have a guy who loses it. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't lose your shit. You can't lose your shit. He's pretty real in this moment. We're gonna die. And you have a hero that just doesn't know what to do. But, he's also dealing with the death of his friend, and that's where it clicks. Sorry, again, I keep getting sucked into the movie. I mean, I remember it. Like I said, I saw this on VHS tape. And did not get to see this in the theater, unfortunately. Because when I was growing up, the theater was very far away. It was at least 40 miles away to the nearest movie theater. So only once in a blue moon, once in a while. I believe I saw Die with a Vengeance in the theater because it was around my birthday. But they rarely got to see a movie at the theater. Just too far away, lived in the middle of nowhere in Iowa. But VHS tapes were the thing. And my mom was very nice to buy VHS tapes. She didn't have to, but it was very nice of them. And Yeah, back in the day, the VHS tape, you would have like maybe trailers at the beginning, or you'd have some kind of promotional material at the beginning. Not all the time. That was kind of the fun. Like you pop in a videotape, you wonder, are there going to be trailers? Are there going to be previews? What's going to be in this one? Like Independence Day, you pop in, it's like a teaser for Volcano coming next year. Or White Man Can't Jump. It was like trailers for other basketball VHS tapes. I mean, I don't know if this is possible, that you could find a signal like this, but I might, whatever. I'll buy into it. See, that's the thing. Like, if I'm enjoying a film a lot, I'll buy into and go. I'm not the smartest guy, not by far. So it's true, not true, possible, not possible. I don't know. I just go along with it. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. I'm not the brightest light bulb. God damn it, Miles Dyson, I'm taping the shit. Calm down. Then this one stupid lady hiking up her skirt screws up everything. But, trying to think of what else to say, to talk about. Only because, like I said before, what makes the film work is, I mean, I know I repeat myself, but when you get a good cast, you get likable characters, you even make little small characters memorable, like Alan Ruck or the Ortiz guy. You have a likable lead that is not a John McClane clone because of the way he talks to people, because of the way he acts in the situation. Sandra Bullock, strong woman who's funny but not annoying or irritating. Again, apparently Ellen DeGeneres was never offered the part, but if that was the case, that would have been awful. And how do I put it? I said the action, it keeps going. It never slows down. It never slows down. I mean, it never gets boring. I mean, we're an hour and 20 minutes in. We have, I wonder if the original script, if this was the moment where he was supposed to die. Like if the Alan Ruck character, maybe not, because who knows how different that script is with everything. And that interests me. That always interests me. Like you have an original script and all the changes that happens throughout it. Again, that's one of the reasons why a writer's commentary is very interesting. Well, because the what ifs. Again, I didn't know Alan Ruck's character was written as like a shitty lawyer, but then he was written as a likable, if dull-witted guy that then got killed. Never knew that. I think even Jan de Bont said, well, I gotta have an ending for the bus as well. So you have this big explosion with that plane. Get $30 million. It's crazy this costs only 30-some million dollars. And again, if you go with the how prices have changed today on materials and also everything's got more expensive. Even if you double it, let's say it's been doubled, that's still 60 million, which would be considered low for a big blockbuster today. I think about all these movies that cost $200 million, $300 million. Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War. I will take this any day, week, month, or year over those Avengers Endgame and Infinity War. Any day. Love the love this piece of music. There's a satisfying, triumphant feel to it. Hopefully no one was on that plane. Or the guy driving that thing did, there's no one on this plane, right? Too late. I wonder if that guy driving that thing... What the fuck? Ah, what is this shit? See, if it was a comedy, you'd have the one guy in that truck ahead running out, what the fuck is going on? What the fuck is this? Who blew up my fucking plane? I was driving the shit, what the fuck? I'm not yelling because I don't want to throw my voice out. Back then, when you could just destroy a fucking plane and do it for real, there he goes. At least you show that he's alive. See, little stuff like that shows there's some competence. Like, show a little bit where the driver's okay, he runs off, probably get shit his pants, but he's okay. So at least there's that. And I'm sure... So I now them know that Jan de Bont wrote a lot of this dialogue. He probably did come up with this line. Relationships that start under intense circumstances never last. Which I guess was true because he's out of the picture in Speed 2. In Speed 2, it seemed like nobody wanted to do Speed 2. They just did it because the first one was a hit and they were paid a shitload of money. Like, Sandra Bullock didn't want to do Speed 2. She did it because she had a shitload of money and they were able... I want you to finance this other film, Hope Floats, which is the film she wanted to do. Jan de Bont, he didn't want to do it. It was probably like a contract or he didn't pay a shitload of money. And there you go. The writers do a commentary for Speed 2 Cruise Control. I would love to hear that. Love to hear that. Exactly. But of course, you have luck on the bad guy's side too, because if he didn't notice anything, if he still was fooled by this videotape, he would have been just arrested. But of course, again, you gotta change it up. Now, there's a couple people that feel that the film kind of squanders at the end. I disagree. I love the finale in the subway. Sorry that I'm playing with my eyeball, just fucking allergies. But I thought it worked out well at the end. And again, I guess the test screening, the whole subway stuff was after. And then here's some money, go shoot that stuff. So I don't know if that means that this stuff too. Because that's always the question, like, why would you bring Sandra Bullock here? And a little bit of a dicey writing. Like, why don't you just send her off to the ambulance, to the hospital? Why would she be there? Just like, you go to the hospital, and you ride with us, Jack. So it does make, it's like, well, she's got to be there somehow, because she's got to be a hostage somehow, so, again, you either go with it or you don't. Again, he's not going to go that way. But he knows there's something. That thing that he's doing with his fingers, I wonder what the deal is with his fingers. There you go. Again, it's like you have to have Sandra Bullock here, and again, it's a bit of a why is she here? But again, every film you can think of, you can find little nitpicks. You can. I don't think there's such a thing as a perfect movie, but they're nitpicks, not big problems. They're nitpicks. Yeah, that's bullshit. Why was it turned on from the get-go? Why were you waiting to turn it on? No shit, he's moving. Also, I wonder if the test screening had gone poorly and they weren't able to do the subway, then what? Would they have just been like, fuck it, shit, well, you have a hair trigger aimed at your head, what do you do? What do you do? Pop quiz, asshole. Sorry, I keep I keep watching the film. Get sort of I'm knocking the damn desk, but and this is like Dennis Hopper. You think about it, that he's for the good chunk of the middle, he's pretty much just in his room, just on a phone a couple times, but he still makes a big leeway, a big spot of recognizability from this movie. Like, I guarantee you, after this, one of the films he was asked about the most would have been Speed. He makes an impression of this bad bomber. And see, like, the thing with Speed 2 is Willem Dafoe was more goofy because he had the leeches stuff, and the leeches is because he's dying of this poison type of thing. The leeches are supposed to help with his blood, but it's still just a weird addition that the way Willem Dafoe was tamping it up Like this is still, it's fun, but it's still a villainous role. So it's fun, but it's still intimidating. Willem Dafoe was more camp. There's more of a campy performance. You know, with the bug eyes and, are you having fun, Annie? It just, yeah, it didn't quite work out. And I like Willem Dafoe, but again, whereas the way it was the way the character was written, or just the way he performed it, maybe it was the casting. I don't know. Yeah, I like Willem Dafoe, and like I said before, like each is like a mini movie. You have the elevator, you have the bus, and now you have this. Each one's its own movie with like a beginning, middle, and end. And that reminds me, I still remember a year later, Die Hard with a Vengeance came out, and Mad Magazine, if you remember Mad Magazine, which would like parody whatever was around at that time, and they did a parody of Die Hard with a Vengeance, and the parody was, how many movies will you think of while watching Die Hard with a Vengeance? So, like, I'll say the subway scene, and oh, it's like Speed, which had a subway scene. Oh, when Bruce Willis and Sam Jackson were on that wire and they were swinging down. Oh, that's like Cliffhanger, and I forget which issue of Mad Magazine that was. But ever since, it makes you think of, oh yeah, Die with a Vengeance did have a subway scene just like this does. I like Die with a Vengeance though, and that also dealt with a Mad Bomber, although there's a little bit more to it. But it's interesting that John McTiernan said no. And then the next movie, you have a guy setting off bombs. Just like this movie had a guy setting off bombs. And both movies are definitely better than Blown Away, which is also about Mad Bomber. Blown Away, that's some good explosions, but that's a movie that just was not that exciting despite that. Jeff Bridges, Tommy Lee Jones, interesting cast, but it just wasn't exciting. Something about it just wasn't exciting. This, I actually don't mind the way it's filmed. I think it works well. So pretty much that little thing ruins the money so you can't spend it. As if you guys didn't know, you could figure that out. Because you gotta find a way to get rid of Keanu Reeves' gun. Otherwise, you would just shot the motherfucker. But the subway is kind of like a, I guess in a way, kind of like a rear projection type of thing. You know how back in the day with the movies, someone would be driving and you just have a screen in the back showing a road. This is kind of that, the showcase. Like this thing's not moving, but you have this thing going to showcase movement. But you also get a nice comeuppance with the villain as well. Yeah, but I'm taller. But I'm taller. Some people cringe at that. I liked it. I think it works. Thankfully, this bomb is a little bit easier to get rid of. And yeah, of course, how do you ratchet it up? Of course, this gotta be a runaway. On a runaway train. Train. Which, again, was the writer's initial inspiration was Runaway Train. So right here you have a runaway train, it's a subway train. So that's probably how he got the idea for the ending of the film. Oh yeah, the handcuffs. Yeah, I almost forgot about that too. She was handcuffed. And that's why you had to get rid of the gun as well, otherwise you could have just shot the lock. Keep kicking it. That's the best bet, is to keep kicking. What you don't do, try to pull her wrist through? Drop kick the fucking thing. Speed it up, hence, again, another case for the for the title. Although if you look at the outside of that, to showcase the subway, then the lights from up top of the subway when he was fighting Dennis Hopper's character, so they don't quite look the same color-wise. But again, I'm like, oh well. Just something I noticed a bit. Like when he looked outside before he sped it up, the lights, I see like there's a bit more colorful of lights when they were up top. It seemed like I saw like a lot more red and other colors. I do like that detail you saw in Sandra Bullock though on the wrist, that there's a bit of redness to show that, I mean, they were trying. So there would be some welt redness on there. So there's little details they did get, you know, they stuck with. But you see how you just see like white lights on the outside? But it was like a lot more red and stuff you would see on the fight on top with Howard Payne. This is probably where, again, the additional funding helped with this scene. You definitely get your money's worth with this movie, I'll say that. You get your money's worth. There you go. Again, it's just sad that you get this model work, and it was all these things you got put together. Like you got model work, you got at, not in this, but at other ones, matte paintings. Like all of these things to help sell the illusion that this is obviously a real life thing they had to shoot out. Because you see the people right by it, so you get the size of it. And it's just, They don't do that anymore because everything's just in a computer. Everything's just in a computer, and it's just not as fun. It's just not as satisfying. There's stuff in a computer that can work well, don't get me wrong. But I think it's definitely an overutilized format that you can use it doesn't mean you abandon all this other stuff. Doesn't mean every movie needs that. It doesn't. It just doesn't. And people wonder why I get so mad about movies today. Why I get so mad about entertainment today. Because I know what we had. I know what we had in the 80s and 90s. And sadly, it will never come back. Yes, there are films that are good, like the John Wick films, and I like Nobody, I like Willy's Wonderland, I like *Malignant*, I like even the Suicide Squad. But the time and era of the 80s and 90s are never going to come back, no matter how they say movies are better today, but they keep looking to the past for stuff. And it's because you look at a film like this, we had all the elements put together, a movie that came out of left field and surprise people, a film that still holds up to this day as a classic in the action genre in terms of thrills, action, excitement, the music, the cast, the characters. They all work really well together. And yes, I actually like this song. I know the writers on the commentary hate this song. They commented, but I like the song. Was it Billy Idol? Speed, give me what I need, yeah, grease lightning. I remember when my very first channel, I would do tributes. That's really what I did in my first YouTube channel was movie tributes, and I would like find movies and I was able to download a movie or rip a movie and then just edit it with a song, usually a song from the soundtrack. So I did one for Speed with this one song, which is fun to do. It's just I don't do it much anymore. Time and all that stuff, and even if you do, it's now so commonplace that it wasn't as commonplace back then. So when I would upload one of those, it would get quite a bit of views, but then that was just much more typical. That just again, it's not as special. But yeah, I do like the song. Kudos to the cast. Kudos to the effects guys. And yeah, just crazy how fast this went. I mean, no pun intended how fast it went. Yeah, it was Billy Idol. And this needs a better special edition. It does. It needs a better special edition than what we have here. It's just why this never got a documentary is to me. I mean, even this Blu-ray. Like, you look at this Blu-ray and you get two commentary tracks. You get a trivia track. You get trailers for Speed, Behind Enemy Lines, Phone Booth, Planet of the Apes, Transporter, other, Fox stuff. Scene selection. Like, this is all the features on the Blu-ray. Two commentary tracks, a trivia track. It doesn't have the feature. It doesn't even have the features from the 2-disc DVD that were like interviews from back in the day. They don't even have that. Just Fox. I mean, it's only Speed, a classic, and you give nothing to it. This is, again, fucking Fox. Same company that for years did not even give a Blu-ray to True Lies or The Abyss. It just, no. Either way, Speed, absolute classic. Thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.